So let's implement this. Here's our first exercise we're going to do together to make sure that you know your 5% and you know what needs to be automated, what needs to be delegated, and what needs to be deleted. Here's where it becomes interesting. Now we're going to actually do some work with your stuff. First, what I want you to do is I'm going to give you an overview of how this tool works, and then you're going to be able to do it yourself step by step with me. But the basic idea here is that you're going to have to understand your higher goal. Like, what is it that you are striving towards? In my sense, it is to attract my ideal client. And a sub goal of that, like a project goal, would be to publish a YouTube video weekly. And in able to do that, there are a few phases so I can achieve that. One is to plan, record, edit, publish, and analyze. It's probably going to look similar to you. My next job here is to figure out how many hours I'm spending on these tasks. Your task number one is to go to this little spreadsheet, which is the link in the below, which is linked below. And then you fill out your higher goal, your project goal, and your tasks according to that. And to repeat, it goes from being your higher goal, what is the top thing that you want to achieve, and then you break that down into what is your project goal that connects to the higher goal. And then below that, you have the tasks that you need to do to achieve your project goal and then the higher goal. Do that, and I'll see you here in a minute. Excellent. Now that you've done that, it's time to figure out how much time you are spending on this. And you don't have to be you can use tools such as Toggle or Toggle Track or whatever it's called to kind of understand what the heck you're doing in a week. But you could just also be more broad and more general. Like, okay, when it comes to planning a video, how much time am I spending on that? Well, for me, it's probably per video, it's at least 2 hours. Let's just say I'm doing 2-3 hours planning that stuff. Cool, move on. And then you do, okay, how much time am I spending on recording it? Well, for every hour of footage that I'm recording, it's probably a few retakes, whatever, maybe it's 1.5x the actual output. So if I record 1 hour, it's probably 1.5 of stuff like that. So let's just put 1.5, something like that. Editing, holy crap, that just always takes a long time, at least for a 1 hour video per week. If I'm nice to myself, it's probably 3 hours with things breaking down and whatever. And the publishing phase, where you got to create a thumbnail, you got to create the text, the caption, and all that crap, that's probably another 2 hours. And then the analyze of the video that released next week, it's at least 1 hour. So you could do it something like this. Don't be over dramatic about this. And for those of you guys who feel like, I don't even know what I'm doing per week, my best suggestion to you is that you take you don't even know where to start, what you're doing. Then you could just use Toggle, or just go through a day. And whenever you're doing something that sucks, just write it down on a piece of paper. So you're like, it sucks, therefore I should give it to someone else. So, and then you will have, by the end of the day, you'll have a long list of things that you're doing that you might not be aware of doing. And then you can run it through this thing, because it's going to connect, hopefully, to a higher goal of yours. And if it doesn't, congratulations, you could just delete it. But for now, go through this, add your time spent per task, and let's see here again. By now, you should have your task printed out. You should have your time spent on each, and we're going to look at whether or not this relates directly to what it is that you want to achieve. So in the planning phase, when I'm planning some type of content, does that lead towards my goal? And here's what I want to see. Does it lead towards attracting my ideal audience, or does it lead towards my project goal? So planning, oh heck yes, it's directly related. Because if I don't do that, then the video becomes crap, everything becomes crap, so it's directly related. Recording, well, I kind of directly have to do that, right? Editing, yep, that's directly. Publishing, yep. And analyzing, I would say it's indirectly towards my higher goal. It's such a vital part. I'll put it as, honestly, I put it as directly. Okay, so all these things are leading towards my goal, which means I can't scrap them right now. If I had something that's like, it doesn't lead towards the goal, and it's like, does it lead towards any other goal that I'm working towards? If the answer is no, then like, screw that one. Okay, so do that, and then we're gonna have a look at risk and reward. Okay, cool. So risk and reward is a really important part. Like, this is where we figure out whether or not something is worth doing, if it's high value or low value. And this is, people forget about this sometimes, and to figure out what the heck can I win and what can I lose from this. They oftentimes just focus on getting it done, like doing it so they can do the next thing. But I want to make sure that you understand what you're winning and what you're losing from. Looking at the example of planning, if I delegate this and it fails, what are the consequences? What are the losses? Are they high, medium, or low? Or I don't know yet. So in this case, if the planning fails and it's like crap, like the consequences will be high because the video will be crap and it will be useless and it would not lead me towards the higher goal. So if the delegation fails, it's a high loss because it would just be a waste of time, waste of resources. If I delegate this successfully, will it be a big win? Will I save a ton of time? So like I can see over here, well, yeah, it will save me quite a lot of time, right? Because I spend a lot of time on planning. So if I could do that, that would be successfully. Recording, if I delegate that somehow and I screw it up, which be like it's just worthless piece of content, right? Editing, if that gets screwed up, it's a big loss, but I can also redo it. If it sucks, I can just redo it. Someone else, I can do it again. So for me, that's a low one. If someone edits it and it's shit, I can just redo it. And if someone publishes it and they screw it up, like for me, that's a low one as well. Like I don't have a gazillion viewers that's going to be like, oh, that's the worst thing I've ever seen. So it doesn't really matter. If they publish it and it screws up, I can just remove it and redo it. The analyze phase is the losses. Like if they misdo the data, misdo the number, it could throw me off a bit, but it could make me do the wrong things. It would make me make the wrong decisions. I'll put it on medium. I can redo it, but I would working off the wrong data, if that makes any sense. So I'm doing this right now with you on my actual YouTube channel. So that's why I'm working with slow towards with you. And I want to bring you through how I do this and what my thoughts are. So that's how we check out the losses. We do the same things for wins. Okay, recording phase. If it gets delegated successfully, well, I could win 1.5 hours, and I don't have to do that, which is a big one. So that's a big win. If the editing, that's a big win, because if someone can do that for me, which they already are, to be honest. If you're watching this, it's highly likely that I didn't edit this, so it's a big win. The published thing is also a big win, because that's 2 hours per week that I could save. And yeah, that's a big win. Then we have the analyze phase. It's like a medium win. I can kind of enjoy that stuff, collecting the data and going through it. So that's how we do the risk reward. Don't make this complicated. If you don't know, if you're unsure, like just mark it as unsure. Send me an email, send me whatever, like comment below, and I will give you some thoughts on how to do this better, and I'll give you some ideas on how you could think about this. So don't overdo it. Go blast through this quickly. Now that we've done the risk reward, it's time to go to how easy is this to delegate. This is a good one, because this is where it gets a little bit exciting. So we're looking at the planning, and we're going to look at how easy is this task to delegate successfully. This means that with the skills I have right now, how easily can I transfer this task to someone else and make sure that they can actually do it? So the planning phase, for me, it's really difficult. This is one of the things which is like, I want to do it in my style, because it's my channel, my messaging, it's all of these things that are me. So the planning is the thing that, that it's really hard to delegate. For me, maybe for you it's different, but for me it's different. It can be done, but it's not how I want it to be done right now. The recording is, well, it's my face. I'm doing it in a way where it's my face that needs to be on camera, so it'll be really difficult to record it, to delegate the recording. But I could make the channel differently so my face didn't have to be on camera. That would be an option. The editing, it's a medium one. Like if I choose to go down the route of very simple editing, which I usually do, then it can definitely be done fairly easy. And publishing, well, that's a fairly easy one, because I set up a different set of parameters so they know they can work within it. I'm just going to rate that as easy. And then analyze is super easy, because it's basically collecting a bunch of numbers and then putting them in a report, which I've already prepared. So that's how we rate that stuff. Okay, now I'm not going to do all of these things. I'm just going to do the top ones till we can speed on, because I think you're starting to get the idea here. So the next question is, am I uniquely qualified to do this? the planning in this part, I would say yes, because there are ways that I want this to be done that represent me and my brand. So at this stage of my business, I'm uniquely. And the energy is like, is this like, oh God, this sucks? Or is it like, I live for this crap? You know, this is the best thing ever. And to be honest, this is something that gives me energy. I love going through this thing. I love having fun with trying to create stuff, and taking my thoughts and presenting them to you guys. Who's doing it? Well, I'm doing it right now. And who should be doing it? As far as I see, so this is the thing where it becomes interesting. Going through all of this, so it directly leads to the goal. It has a high loss if it fails. It has a high win if it works. And it's difficult to delegate. And this is something that I'm uniquely qualified to do. And it gives me energy. Like, it's all pointing towards who should be doing it. I should be doing it. I hope that makes sense. Like, everything is over here is pointing towards who should be doing it. And then me should be doing it. So that's how I go through this very simple framework of trying to figure out who needs to do it. This is basically the conclusion over here. When I fill this one out, I'm like, okay, who should be doing it? Well, I just go through the data that I've collected and I mark it here as like, yeah, you know what? I should be doing this, someone else should be doing it. And if there's a discrepancy, which hopefully I can find you an example here in a few seconds, then I add it here. Like, if the wrong person is doing it, then why? And this part here, all this document, I would love for you if you wanted to send this to me, because this gives me a lot of information of how you guys are responding to this. And this will also be the way that I can help you move forward with what to delegate and stuff. If we then go to the analyze phase over here, then we can see that, okay, we have this information. I'm going to make my little wobbly head small. Whoop, put up here. And then the question is, am I uniquely qualified to do this? No, anyone can do this. Is this something that gives me energy? Well, it's fun, but it's not exciting. It's kind of neutral to me. I enjoy it, but it's also like, it's not that fun. And who's doing it? Well, I'm doing it right now, but who should be doing it? Like, looking at this now, I realize that, it's not really something I'm unique to do. It doesn't really, it's not really, I live for this stuff. So honestly, either a machine or someone else should be doing it. And right now, I don't really know if there's a machine that can do it. I don't have an automation. So I'm just going to have someone else do it for me. So that's a conclusion that I got right now, that I should actually delegate the analyze phase of my YouTube channel. And I see it's something like they would gather the information and analyze it, and I would hand me a report. And from that report, I will make decisions. So here's a really cool tool that you can use to figure out what the heck you should be doing and what someone else should be doing. What you need to remember is that you fill out the data from left to right, and then at this second to last column is where you draw the conclusions. Who is doing it and who should be doing it is the same, then good job, awesome. If there's a difference, like what I realize here, then these are the things that we're gonna pick to work on during the next part of the mini course. And you wanna pick, if you have multiple things which says someone else, then we're going to pick the one who has the most time. So like this thing here or this thing here. When you go through the tool, you see that there are more things below. So you'll have more goals, more product you're doing, and keep filling this out until you have something that's like, oh, here's where I'm spending a bunch of time. And you have some things that are, taking a lot of time per week, and that you realize should be done by someone else, and that you find is easy to delegate. That's the golden thing. So by now you should have picked an idea or a task that you want to delegate, and my recommendation is you find something that has at least 5 hours per week in time saved if you are able to delegate it, and it's assessed as easy to delegate, and it has high rewards, just as per the spreadsheet that we just looked at. And if you think this can't be delegated, like almost all of the things end up like you being unique, like it's uniquely for me, then I would offer a little bit of a humility pill here. You are unique, but the way you edit reels or edit content most likely isn't. Like, how many times have you seen a viral video that you haven't edited or that you haven't created or that you haven't planned? Like, most of them, right? So surely there are things out there like social media or creating content or whatever that can be done by someone else. We just need to take a step back and realize that we have things that makes us unique, but it most likely isn't the things that we think they are. And some of you guys I know now are, it's too risky, these things. I can't delegate this because everything end up on being, like it's a big loss if I screw it up. So consider this. If you have kids, you're probably putting them in daycare. If you have ever traveled by airplane, you're having someone else fly the airplane, and you're just assuming that the plane is not going to crash into a wall, right? Because you put the trust in whoever drives it. That's the perspective I want to have you here. Even if it's a little bit difficult for you to figure out how to communicate that task or delegate it right now, look a little bit ahead and maybe you could train your team how to do it so it doesn't become too risky. Or pick a task that, as we did the exercise before, that isn't risky even if they fail, so you could just redo it. Maybe you'll lose a little bit of time, or maybe actually they will lose a little bit of time. But if you've structured out the delegation template that we're going to look at in the next phase, then you'll see that this template will be also like a contract with your VA or your team, which means that you're not going to lose anything, but they might lose out on efficiency because they screwed up. If you think things are too risky to delegate, think about all the other things in life that you delegate. Childcare, being flown in an airplane, taking a taxi. Those are all way more risky things. So take a step back, realize that in the long-term perspective, this is going to be a huge win for you if you manage to, or rather, when you manage to delegate these things. And to be fair, you have no other option. We have already concluded that for the business to grow, we need to start delegating, and we need to delegate hard. Just imagine if, Jeff Bezos or one of Bill Gates or whatever did everything in their business. Like it's just impossible, right? Jeff Bezos driving every single Amazon car, like that's not happening. You have to delegate. Or Jeff Bezos making every single decision in the business. It just doesn't work. Can't be done. Okay, now that we have deleted all the crap that's not supposed to be done, and we have figured out what needs to be automated by a machine, and we have figured out what needs to be done by other humans than ourselves, it's time to take those tasks that you want to get rid of, that you want someone else to do, and turn them into actionable steps for your team so they actually can perform it. In the next lesson, we're going to take the things that you want to delegate and make them actionable so your team can get to work. See you in the next one.